Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and NPD by somebody that has both. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that stuff, and there's some socially things scrolling past me that you can follow me on. So today I want to talk about personality masks. This is a concept that applies to both personality disorders, but in slightly different but significant ways. The gist of it is that this is wearing a personality like a mask. The outside attitude and emotion that's communicated does not match the inside, where we're all feeling something different. With the two different disorders, the desire to do this, or the feeling that we do this, comes from two very different places, and that's where they differ significantly. With BPD, it's fairly easy to understand. It's putting on a personality as a mask in order to get through the day. I feel like shit, I feel like killing myself or whatever, and I've got to go to work. So I'm going to get this personality, the happy, perky office person, and go and do that and perform this personality all day. And then come home and I'm going to slip back in. I'm going to be Mr. Depressed and everything like that. That's one thing. That's the BPD way. The NPD way isn't that, because we're not depressed. We're perfect, remember? Being depressed is for shit people. And so that's not what we need to create these personalities for. The place these come from is a much darker place, because this is about manipulation. It's being the person that somebody wants me to be in order to get out of that person what I want from them. Okay? It's still not reflective of what's going on the inside, but it's more purposefully created and with a much darker and sinister undertone to it. That's one I've done a lot of personally. That's, when you're doing it. Now, it can be very tricky when these things have to get mixed up with each other. Let me give you an example. When I was a teenager, my parents went on holiday and left me at home for the first time. I was 18. This was a big deal. You don't go on holiday with your family anymore. But what you do is stay home for 2 weeks while they're away. And what that means when you're 18 is that you have a party. And what I did was I invited my friends from school. And then I invited my friends from band. And you kind of don't think about it. They're just my friends. What difference does it make? And then I had a party where two groups of people in no way interacted with each other. And I was just moving in between them all. And you start to realize what a different person you are in each set of circumstances. And having these two worlds collide is actually really uncomfortable and really difficult to deal with. You'll have been to parties like this in your life. It happens fairly often, I think. You can't just invite a group of people from one bit of your life and a group of people from another bit of your life and expect it to go well. It's a bizarre thing, and I really don't think it's possible. I think as adults we try and convince ourselves that it is, but it's not. It's not. But I had these different personalities, these different people that I was in these different circumstances. The masks were different. Now, in those days, it mainly came from a place of BPD for me. The NPD wasn't going to come until later. But it was enough to sort of, just that experience was enough to show me that this is something that happens, right? We are different people in different situations, and it goes on. It's not just different groups of friends. You're different people in front of your significant other, and even then, that depends who you and your significant other are around as a couple. And you could be a different person in front of your parents, or in front of teachers, or it just goes on and on and on. And we start to lose track in all of that of who we are and why we're doing this in the first place, which can be difficult. Like for me, they're coming from two different places. So the BPD one is actually pretty simple to understand. Look at it in terms of that blanket of sadness that I keep talking about, that comfort zone of sadness. And we wrap ourselves up in it and get comfortable and warm and cozy feeling sad for no reason. And we think that when we get up and go to work and put on that fake personality, that we're being somebody that we're not. It's a fake personality, right? It's a mask. And what we can't wait to do is get back home again at the end of the day and take the mask off and wrap ourselves up in that blanket of sadness again. And eventually you have to come to the following realization. It's not a mask. It's you, dickhead. You're doing it. It's not fake. It's not made up. It's all coming from inside of you. You are doing all of it. You just got wrapped up in that blanket of sadness and it's pulling you back, and it's doing it so much that you think that you breaking out of it is what's wrong. If you can't perform happy, really, not all day. You can't be somebody that you're not for any prolonged amount of time. Your brain doesn't work like that. The truth is, what you're allowing yourself to do is take off that blanket. All of this is coming from within you. You've got it in you to be happier and better than you are. And you think you're performing it, but you're not. You're actually doing it. Because at the end of the day, what's the difference? You forget about that blanket of sadness that you've left at home. And you let a happiness out to play. Because you've got that level of control over it. It's control you shouldn't have. I understand. And you don't want it. And I don't want it. And it's not something you should have to make a choice about. But we're wrapped up in this blanket. And doing that allows us to take it off. And just remember that it's so bad, you're so wrapped up in it, that it makes it feel like taking it off is what's abnormal. It's uncomfortable to not feel the sadness. So we think that that's wrong. But in actual fact, that's exactly what we're looking for the whole time. It's right there and we didn't know. Because of this blanket of sadness. So you can fight it. You can say no. You can start to accept that when you're happy, you're actually happy. And that's allowed. That's a good thing. That's something you can achieve. If you can shake this blanket off. And you shake that blanket off every day, many times a day, without thinking about it. And then at the end of the day, you get wrapped up in it again and you forget all the things you've achieved throughout the day. And tomorrow's another struggle to shake that blanket off. Don't invalidate your own hard work and your own achievements. It's easy to do because we don't feel like the hard work and achievements. We feel like it's something going wrong. But in actual fact, it's something going very right. Because all these things come from within you. Now that all sounds so positive and so straightforward. And of course, just do that then. Just like, okay. And I know it's not that easy. It's much easier said than done. I totally understand. But the BPD side of things, and we'll talk more about it when we talk about personality absorption. But for the BPD side, it's about, I think, shaking off that blanket. Now let's address NPD. This has the same problem as a lot of the NPD markers. You need it a little bit. right? Life's a little bit, tiny little bit about manipulation. We do it all the time, right? Smiling to make somebody feel more positive towards you. There are so many basic human interactions which could be said to be on some level manipulative. Okay? But they still fit within the realm of normal positive human interaction. So I suppose with the NPD, what we're talking about is that we're doing it specifically to manipulate beyond the realms of positive human interaction. We're manipulating to take control of a person and or a situation or whatever. And aware that we're doing it at the same time. It's not putting a mask on to get through the day and make yourself look like a happier person to others so they don't know how sad you are. No, this is about controlling somebody or something, behaving in a way that makes that person feel bad, or behaving in a way that makes somebody feel unnecessary. There are so many possibilities. There are so many ways this comes out. And let's be honest, we know when we're doing it. Right? We know when we're doing it. It's just like being nice sometimes, it's so many things that we're pushing them beyond that normal boundary to get control, and we get good at it, and we get good at doing it so that people don't really know we're doing it. And it's difficult to stop. It's difficult to say you mustn't ever do this, because we do somewhat sort of need to do this within this realm of normal human interaction. There's nothing wrong with communicating your emotions to people. There's nothing wrong with trying to make somebody else feel calm or settled or happy or whatever, especially if you're in a tense situation and you're trying to get a positive outcome out of it or something like that. That's okay. I mean, in terms of, God, even things like buying somebody a birthday present or doing something nice for somebody could be argued is in some way manipulating that person. Even if it's coming from a place of positivity, like I want to make somebody else feel happy, so I take steps to do it. Am I manipulating that person? It's being seen as a positive, right? Because I'm doing it to make that person feel good. But then I could also do it to make that person feel bad if I wanted, because they did something that hurt me. And I really want them to know how much that hurts. So I'm going to bring out some hurt and hurt them, whether I'm right to or not. If you want to see examples of that, just visit twitter.com. That's basically what it runs on. I feel like I'm going to hurt you more than you hurt me because of whatever. That's what we're not supposed to do, right? There's never an acceptable reason to hurt someone or use them in some way. And it can be so difficult to do when you're so well trained at manipulation and using people and all of that stuff, that if you want something out of somebody that you're not getting and you can see a path your way to get to it, it's very difficult to not take that path, because we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. We're given all these options which are bad, that neurotypical people don't have to deal with, I don't think. But even then, of all the NPD-like traits that I see out there in the world, this one's probably the most common, this manipulation tactic, this I'm going to hurt you more than you hurt me because I feel I'm justified in hurting you because you hurt me. That kind of thing. It's all a really horrible trait, and I think it ties into entitlement and that sort of thing. To the people to the people with NPD, you have my, I was going to say sympathy, but I'm in it with you. This fine line of walking between inappropriately manipulating somebody and just being nice, just being a pleasant person, whatever. We can twist it and fall over the line onto the other way, and people, we get away with it because we're good at it. And you've got to choose not to take the path of least resistance. As with everything else in NPD, if you know you're doing it, if you're aware that this is something you can do, then you can take steps to deal with it. If you can look at situations in which you would manipulate people and really be self-reflective and look at when you've done this, because really truthfully you'll know, you can't lie to me, I'm doing it too. You'll really know when you've done it to people, and you can, right, in that situation, that's how I behaved. I must not do that. It just takes that bit of practice, and that can take time because again you're waiting situations to occur so you can react to them correctly. And that, don't start making situations occur because that's manipulating people. Okay, that was an early one for me, right? When I was starting to think about reacting correctly in various BPD situations and realizing you can only practice these situations when they occur. And then the little Deadpool voice in my head went, so how do we make these difficult situations occur then? Like, no, we don't set out to make difficult situations occur so that I can do my practicing. That's a fairly obvious. There's a first hurdle for you, right? You can't do that. You have to take your time and not rush with it, which in itself is frustrating as well. I totally understand, but you're not wearing a mask. This is you. This is coming from within, right? And if that's the case, then you can control this. You can get hold of it. And just like anything with BPD, you can decide what the right reaction is, decide what the right course of behavior is in various situations ahead of time. And then when those situations occur, you might be able to get control of yourself and follow your predetermined path of positive behavior. Write shit down, honestly. Write stuff down. When X happens, I will do Y. And then hopefully one day X will occur and you will do Y. Instead of Z, which was probably a bit obnoxious and manipulative and deceitful and maybe hurt somebody emotionally or something like that. I hate how casually I talk about stuff, the bad stuff that we do. But I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to people who also have this. And so it actually helps. Can we just be honest about it? Can we not, let's not hang our heads in shame with each other. Right? We have to be open and honest and talk about what it is that we do and the fact that we know that we do it. And if you're feeling that guilt or shame about it, that's good. You're supposed to feel guilt and shame about behaving badly. And maybe if you can feel enough of this guilt and shame, you're going to stop doing it. Right? Look, if you're questioning yourself at all, this is a positive move in NPD. Right? The cracks are starting to appear. You can break through it and start to recover. You've got to let those cracks appear, and maybe I can help you chip away at it a little bit. That's kind of my thinking. Anyway, I feel like this is a topic we can visit again or something like that. I'd love to hear from you about what masks you think you wear on a daily basis and if you think they actually do come from within you. We'll touch on this again, I think, when I talk about BPD and personality absorption, like I say, because Again, more masks and that sort of thing. But until then, stay safe. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.